Welcome to By Fans for Fans. For our fifth video, we will be discussing the author William Sleator. William Warner Sleator III was born on Tuesday, February 13th, 1945. William Sleator was an American science fiction author who wrote primarily young adult novels. His books typically dealt with teenagers coming across peculiar phenomenon related to elements of theoretical science and trying to understand and deal with them. Oftentimes, the theme of family, relationships, especially between siblings, is frequently intertwined with the science fiction plotlines of his books. Due to the suspenseful and often eerie nature of some of his works, Sleator has been compared to young adult horror writer R.L. Stine. Others cite a strong resemblance to the paranoid, dreamlike style of Franz Kafka, which is most notable in House of Stairs, one of Sleator's more popular novels. Sleator, the oldest of four siblings, was born in Havre de Grace, Maryland. His father was William Warner Sleator, Jr., a professor of physiology and biophysics, and his mother was Esther Kaplan Sleator, a pediatrician who did pioneering research on attention deficit disorders. William had three younger siblings, Vicky, Tycho, and Daniel. When Billy, as the family called him, was 3, the Sleator family moved to University City, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. He grew up there and graduated from University City High School, where he was known as a composer who wrote scores for school plays and the orchestra. He graduated high school in 1963. He entered Harvard with the intent of pursuing a music degree, but several tragic novellas later, in 1967, he graduated from Harvard University with a degree in English. For a year after college, he studied music composition in London, working as an accompanist at the Royal Ballet School. For 9 years, starting in 1974, he worked as a rehearsal pianist for the Boston Ballet, touring with them all over Europe and the United States, and composing 3 ballets that the company performed. He eventually left because it was taking too much time away from his writing, and the stress of a ballet company began to get to him. William Sleator wrote his first story when he was 6 years old. He even typed it out. It was a brief novella of exactly 4 sentences. Once there was a fat cat. Boy, was she fat. Well, not that fat, but pretty fat. The title of this short story was aptly named The Fat Cat. Like many stories, Sleator's first book, Black Briar, a spooky haunted house tale, was born from real-life experiences in 1972. Sleator's most famous work was likely his third novel, House of Stairs. The first of many works of dystopic science fiction Sleator would write. The book reflects his interest in operant conditioning, featuring 5 teenagers who are taken away from their homes and deposited in a strange facility that seems to consist solely of stairs. They are carefully trained using small bits of food that push them to gradually become more and more sadistic toward each other. The book contained many of the ideas and characters Sleator would return to again and again, including one of his favorite recurring character types, a cruel, overweight woman who had been spoiled and took out her misery on others. Another of Sleator's famous work was 1984's Interstellar Pig, a genuinely thrilling coming-of-age story crossed with a light space opera revolving around a game of the same name, which starts out seeming like just another summer pastime and ends up becoming a horrifyingly real experience. Enjoyably paced and filled with intriguing characters and solid world building, Interstellar Pig also keeps raising the stakes for what its young hero must do to first win the game and then save the planet. Sleator's other popular works included The Green Futures of Tycho, a time travel morality tale about a boy who discovers the longer he holds on to a time machine, the worse of a person he becomes in the future. Also, The Duplicate, an evil twin story. The Boy Who Reversed Himself, a teenage romance mixed with cautionary time travel. And The Last Universe, a sad story of two siblings where one is dying, trying to find a universe where they both will be able to live. He also wrote several ghost stories and horror tales set in Thailand. My personal favorite is the book called Singularity, a story where identical twins, house-sitting at their uncle's farm, find a room that has a very peculiar time dilation effect. Sleator would go on to write over 30 books in his lifetime. His writing style has been described as clean and simple. His characters are reluctant teenage heroes, and Sleator's younger siblings and friends have often found themselves in his stories. Sleator's work often includes a morbid or negative fixation on the past, or includes visions of dystopian or alternate worlds, future or otherwise, in which something has gone wrong. For example, Sleator's The Green Futures of Tycho takes place in the past in addition to the future. The world outside the House of Stairs is hinted to be dystopic, and Interstellar Pig draws upon the supposed insanity of a long-dead prisoner. Although many of his books are scary, he often laces suspense with tongue-in-cheek humor. Later in life, Williams split his time between his homes in Boston, Massachusetts, and a small village in rural Thailand. His companion, Siang Chitsa Ard, had died in 2008, and his preceding partner, Paul Peter Rode, had died in 1999. William Sleator died on August 3, 2011, at 66 years of age in Buachet, Thailand. You can find a list of William Sleator's books, as well as more information in the description below. So as a tribute to fans everywhere of William Sleator's books, we present to you the By Fans for Fans reproduction of a Sonata for Violin Mr. Sleator wrote in 1965, while a sophomore at Harvard. Thanks for watching.